Well, welcome to episode 53. In this episode, we'll do a quick look at the 48 hours I spent recently in a boatyard down here in Florida. In and out, 48 hours or less, and that was a goal, and we did it. So sit back and enjoy. Just did a few little jobs on the boat, and damn, it was noisy. So I apologize in advance for the noise. The flange is out, but the innards are still in the hole, and he's got it ground back already for the fiberglass repair. So we got to remove the valve body from the inside, and then fiberglass her up. Probably he'll have that laid up today. He's doing very good work. So it's moving, huh?
Yeah, but not by as much as I want.
I haven't heard any curse words yet. In the boat under the kitchen sink, and this is the status of the repair job down there. Okay, so obviously it's not fiberglass on the outside yet. This is 4 layers of cloth covered by something they call peel ply, that blue paper looking stuff. I've never seen that before. So peel ply, apparently when the stuff is cured, then you just peel that off and it leaves behind a paintable surface that does not require any additional sanding. So that's pretty cool. So that job, from my perspective on the inside, is completed. Because when I can peel that stuff off another day or so and get some more yellow paint and go to town and have a nice pretty bilge, and then I can get on my gray water system. But that's that. In the engine compartment, so we talked about additional scope, right? So here's some work I threw at the yard. Yeah, so here's some additional work I threw at the yard. And you probably don't see anything. Well, we've got to get closer. Now we're going inside, and that valve is the engine cooling water inlet. And obviously the valve's in the open position. And if I shut it, that's what a valve's supposed to do, unlike my kitchen sink. So now the valve's closed, and you can see it stopped flow. So there's nothing wrong with the valve. The valve has been fine the whole time, but the hose was like from World War II, and this is 1.5 threads, 1.5 threads there. So we're going to get an elbow fitting that'll fit that and reduce it down to 1 inch, and that 1 inch hose is going to run down here by my feet to the raw water strainer. And again, that is work I could have done myself, but it's more risky when you're in the water because you never know how well that valve's going to hold. I mean, I think the valve will hold just fine, but in the spirit of getting into the yard and being a good sport, I threw this work at them. So that's probably, I don't know, 2 hours of his work and probably $100 of hoses and fittings probably by the time I'm done paying. So probably $200-300. And that was really just done to help increase the work scope. It sounds awful. It's the opposite of what the owner wants to do, because I want to do everything myself. The other job we're working is on the transom. And this is where the green patch is where the Hydrovane is going to mount. And we have the holes drilled at the bottom. It's more important to do the bottom today and get it aligned so that the shaft is vertical. Okay, that's the catalyst that you have a few drops of it.
So anyways, you can put epoxy on top of vinyl ester or polyester. You can put vinyl ester on top of polyester or vinyl ester, obviously.
Yeah.
And polyester you can only put on itself, is the general rule.
Slumping, man. So you got to just kind of stay on it until it hardens. Is that right? I mean, I would think, because I'd be worried that there's a void in there and that. So to my viewers, I'll say, you'll notice that there's a stack of pre-cut fiberglass cloth pads, which is Looks a lot thicker than the fiberglass caulk I use. But so that's how I watch a million YouTube videos, and that's how they say to do it. And just keep on adding. Huh. That is. I mean, what you're doing would have taken me all freaking day, and then I have to grind it back out and do it again. You know. So, no, that's a good sight though. I've been so nervous about that kitchen sink hose just breaking and flooding my boat.
So the secret is I'm kind of semi-rolling it out with my brush.
Right.
I'm taking out just the big air bubbles, because the more contact, the more it's going to grow. Exactly. Right, yeah. When you have
so I wonder if
it's very difficult.
I used a thinner cloth, which should have been much lighter, but I had a lot of layers, and I tried putting them all on at once, and it was just a disaster, and it all just fell off, and I had to do it all again. And then Javier came by and just shook his head sadly and said, "You don't want to point much further,
even if it's not perfectly tight. The 52 will cure up, and it'll make it real tight."
I can see the ash you're putting into that. Okay. Hey there. Well, it's 11:30 on Friday. My boat was hauled out approximately 48 hours ago, and we're done with the scope of work selected. I mean, I could sit here for 6 months and keep doing stuff, but in this yard, owners can't do their own work, so I'd have to pay the guys to do everything, and they do a good job, but it just, you can imagine how expensive that would get. I haven't paid the bill yet for this trip. But yeah, we got the kitchen sink drain, the through hull completely abandoned. That went pretty well. That fiberglass repair is complete. All I need to do is vacuum up on the inside once I get shore power, then paint it, make it pretty, and then carry on with my galley remodel. I also paid them to strip and paint the propeller with bottom paint, because the coating I put down on the propeller in Mexico did not work at all. The propeller looked awful. And so I put a new anode on, because my anode was really chewed up in just 6 months since my Mexican haul out. So that's kind of weird, and it's probably worth thinking about once I'm not drinking. So the question is, why did the anode get eroded so quickly? It was not gone, but it was getting there, halfway through its life, and that surprised me. So we also changed out the raw water intake valve for the engine, and I wanted to see the inside of the valve, and that can only be done while the boat's hauled out. So we took off the old hose, and I had to put a new elbow fitting on it and change out that hose, and that's pretty easy scope. It only took an hour or two, so it should not be too expensive to do when I get that bill. So the big job was the Hydrovane. Hydrovane is a brand name for the, I think my battery's dying. Hydrovane is a brand name for a self-steering mechanism that operates off of a wind vane at the top that the wind blows it, and as the wind blows the paddle, it twists the unit, and it has steers and auxiliary rudder. Brilliant in conception, but wow, what a pain in the ass to install, and we didn't do it correctly. Now the lower strut is too low, and we didn't have any choice. Because of the parts that were assembled and the amount of flexibility and the ability to adjust, because they don't use shim packs and things like that, it was not easy to get the shaft vertical in both directions, front and back and side to side, and also, you know, get the brackets such that there's that the there's two brackets top and bottom, and getting them so that they're exactly on the same axis. That was not easy to do, using the brute force methods that you're dealing with just nuts and bolts. So I'm not really happy about that, and I need some time away from Hydrovane, and I think probably in another week or so, I'm getting bug bites. In another week or so, I may tackle that again and try to install the top unit to see if it works. But it ended up not fully vertical, a little bit tilted forward as viewed from the side, which means it might interfere with my cockpit cover. I just don't know yet. So I'm starting to regret that one. I don't know if that was a dumb decision or not. $6,000 for the Hydrovane, and it'll let me steer downwind, without holding the wheel, and that's what it's made for. But it was very difficult to install correctly, and I don't know that it got it correctly. So now it's 11:30. So now it's 11:30, and the yard takes a lunch break at half an hour. So probably 1 o'clock, 1:30 will pick me up and throw me back in the water. And all I have to remember to do is refill the hose from the raw water to the engine, because right now it's empty, of course. So, and then I start up, and I'm going to chug back over to the marina, I think. I might just go out and anchor for a night or two and just decompress. I don't know. I just don't know. But either way, 2 days in the boatyard, and wow, that was busy. So